Amidst the chaos of existence, there lies a path that transcends suffering and leads to enlightenment. This is not a miracle born of the supernatural, but a journey shaped by human willpower, a testament to the timeless wisdom embedded in ancient knowledge. Each step along this journey resonates with profound truths, whispered through the corridors of history, waiting for us to rediscover them. Today, we embark on an exploration of one such journey, a journey undertaken by a man not born into greatness but one who achieved it by transcending the confines of his existence. This is the story of Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who walked away from unimaginable wealth and privilege to unravel the mysteries of suffering and its end. His insights continue to illuminate our lives, offering guidance through the complexities of the modern world. The essence of ancient knowledge lies not only in its preservation but in its application, a bridge between the timeless and the transient. Siddhartha's journey represents this bridge, offering a framework that transcends culture, time, and belief. As we delve into his story, let us approach it not merely as a historical account but as a mirror reflecting the universal truths of human existence. What sets this story apart is not the extraordinary circumstances of Siddhartha's life, but the universal lessons embedded within it. His observations of old age, sickness, and death were not unique experiences. They were the shared realities of all beings. Yet, his response to these truths, to seek their root causes and solutions, transformed a personal journey into a collective inheritance for humanity. In understanding Siddhartha's path, we engage with the wisdom of the ancients, who sought to decode the human condition through insight and introspection. His insights into impermanence, suffering, and the path to liberation are not relics of the past but active tools, capable of reshaping our perspectives today. Let us not merely observe Siddhartha's transformation from prince to teacher, but seek to uncover the timeless principles that underpinned his journey. These principles invite us to question our own paths, asking not what we can achieve in life, but how we can transcend its limits. As we begin this exploration, let us remember, the journey to enlightenment is not about reaching an external destination, but about discovering the depths of our inner world. Through the lens of Siddhartha's life, we glimpse not just ancient knowledge but a reflection of our shared humanity. Over 2,500 years ago, in a small kingdom nestled amidst the Himalayan foothills, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama was born into privilege and prophecy. Wise sages predicted his destiny. He would either ascend as a mighty king who unites nations or a spiritual teacher who transforms humanity. His father, the king, intent on ensuring the first outcome, surrounded Siddhartha with every comfort imaginable, shielding him from the harsh realities of the world. Yet, amidst the abundance of royal life, a peculiar emptiness gnawed at Siddhartha's soul. Despite the opulence, the feasts, and the endless celebrations, he felt an undercurrent of dissatisfaction, a silent question that echoed in the corners of his mind. Is this all there is to life? One fateful day, Siddhartha's curiosity led him to venture beyond the golden walls of his palace. Accompanied by his loyal charioteer, Channa, he witnessed the raw truths of existence. He saw an old man, frail and bent with age, a sick man, writhing in pain, and finally, a corpse, surrounded by grieving loved ones. For the first time, Siddhartha confronted the inevitability of aging, illness, and death, universal truths that no amount of royal protection could shield him from. But what struck Siddhartha most was not the suffering itself, but the serene figure of a wandering ascetic he encountered along the way. Clad in simple robes, this man radiated a calmness that seemed impervious to the chaos surrounding him. Siddhartha was captivated. Why does he appear so at peace in a world filled with suffering? Siddhartha wondered. The ascetic's composure seemed to hold an answer, a clue to a deeper balance, one that Siddhartha realized he had never known within the confines of his sheltered existence. This encounter planted a seed of awakening in Siddhartha's mind. He began to question everything he had been taught about life, happiness, and purpose. The walls of the palace that once seemed protective now felt confining. He saw clearly that material abundance could not shield anyone from the truths of aging, sickness, and death. Thus began Siddhartha's journey as a seeker, a journey that would lead him away from the comforts of royalty and into the depths of human existence. What drove him was not despair, but a burning desire to understand what lies beyond suffering. Is there a path to freedom, not just for one, but for all? Siddhartha's first step into the unknown was not a rejection of life, but a profound affirmation of its potential. He realized that the answers he sought could not be found within the gilded confines of the palace but in the vast, untamed reality of the world beyond. This marked the beginning of an extraordinary odyssey, a journey not of conquest, but of discovery, not of escape, but of embrace. Siddhartha's quest for truth would ultimately illuminate a path for countless others, transforming not only his life but the understanding of life itself. Leaving behind the opulence of the palace, Siddhartha Gautama began a journey into the vast and untamed expanse of the world. He was driven by an unyielding desire to unravel the mysteries of suffering and the possibility of liberation. What lay before him was uncharted territory, not in the physical sense, but in the realm of human understanding. Siddhartha's quest led him to explore two opposing paths, one of indulgence and the other of asceticism. In his youth, the prince had experienced the heights of luxury, where every whim was fulfilled, and suffering seemed a distant concept. Yet, amidst that abundance, he had found no answers, only a growing sense of emptiness. Determined to leave no stone unturned, Siddhartha turned to asceticism. Embracing the opposite extreme, he sought out teachers who practiced severe self-discipline and joined them in their relentless pursuit of liberation through denial of the body. For years, he subjected himself to unimaginable hardships, believing that by suppressing the body, the mind could transcend suffering. He fasted until his ribs were visible beneath his skin and practiced extreme breath control that left him on the brink of unconsciousness. Nights were spent exposed to the biting cold, while days were endured under the relentless heat of the sun. To Siddhartha, these trials were necessary steps toward freedom. However, as time passed, Siddhartha began to observe a troubling pattern. Though he had mastered the art of enduring physical pain, his mind remained restless, his questions unanswered. The more he pushed his body to its limits, the further enlightenment seemed to recede. One day, as Siddhartha sat by a river, he overheard the words of a musician teaching his apprentice. The musician explained the delicate art of tuning a stringed instrument. If the string is too tight, it will break. If it is too loose, it will not produce sound. The secret lies in harmony. These simple words struck Siddhartha with the force of revelation. He realized that his life had been a pendulum swinging between extremes. In the palace, he had known indulgence. In asceticism, deprivation. Both had left him unfulfilled. The musician's insight revealed a new path, a middle way that embraced balance rather than extremity. Siddhartha emerged from this moment with newfound clarity. He understood that the body was not an obstacle to enlightenment, but a vessel, a tool that, when nurtured and balanced, could support the mind's journey toward liberation. The extremes of indulgence and asceticism were distractions, pulling one away from the true path. This realization marked the birth of what would later be known as the middle way. Siddhartha's journey, once defined by extremes, now embraced the principle of moderation, a path that neither rejected life nor clung to its illusions. He saw clearly that the key to freedom lay not in escaping the world, but in engaging with it wisely. Thus, Siddhartha left the company of the ascetics and began walking the middle way. His decision was met with criticism and abandonment by his peers, who viewed it as a betrayal of their shared discipline. Yet, Siddhartha remained undeterred, confident that the path he had discovered would lead to the truth he sought. This pivotal shift in Siddhartha's journey signified more than a personal realization. It was a profound statement about the nature of enlightenment itself. True wisdom, Siddhartha understood, is not found in the extremes but in the balance that unites them. It is in this balance that the human spirit finds the freedom to rise above suffering. Siddhartha Gautama's journey through extremes had led him to a profound understanding of balance. But the true test of his realization awaited him beneath the Bodhi tree. Seeking solitude and clarity, Siddhartha chose this ancient fig tree as his meditation seat, vowing not to rise until he attained enlightenment. As he sat in stillness, the silence of the night was filled with the echoes of his own mind. The battlefield was not the world outside, but the limitless expanse of his inner self. Memories from his past surfaced, moments of indulgence, guilt, and regret. Visions of the future danced before him, whispering promises of power or despair. These were not mere distractions but profound challenges. Each memory, each vision, carried the weight of attachment. The temptations of the past sought to bind him, while the fears of the future sought to unbalance him. Yet Siddhartha remained unmoved. Instead of resisting or suppressing these thoughts, he faced them with unwavering clarity. He recognized them for what they were: illusions born of attachment. With every breath, he allowed these illusions to dissolve, not through force, but through acceptance. In this profound stillness, Siddhartha realized a fundamental truth. All suffering arises from attachment. To let go is not to abandon life, but to embrace its impermanence. This insight was not an intellectual concept, but an experiential awakening, born from direct confrontation with the self. The final and most formidable challenge came in the form of Mara, the personification of illusion and desire. Mara unleashed his full arsenal: visions of his daughters offering sensual pleasures, armies of demons instilling fear, and whispers of doubt questioning Siddhartha's resolve. Siddhartha's response was neither to fight nor flee. He remained firmly rooted, like the Bodhi tree itself, confronting Mara not with resistance but with awareness. Mara's illusions, powerful as they were, could not penetrate the light of Siddhartha's mindfulness. As dawn approached, Mara's forces began to falter. With a final cry of frustration, Mara retreated, defeated not by force but by Siddhartha's unshakable peace. In that moment, as the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, Siddhartha's inner struggle gave way to profound clarity. He saw the interconnected nature of all existence and understood the root of suffering. Siddhartha realized that life's impermanence is not a source of despair, but a doorway to liberation. When one lets go of attachment, the mind becomes free, and with freedom comes an enduring peace. Siddhartha's awakening beneath the Bodhi tree was not merely personal. It was universal. The truths he discovered were not confined to his own experience but resonated with the human condition as a whole. His journey illuminated the middle way, not just as a path of balance, but as a way of engaging with life's impermanence with wisdom and compassion. The dawn of enlightenment marked not the end of Siddhartha's journey, but its true beginning. Armed with profound wisdom, he arose from his meditation, not as Siddhartha the seeker, but as the Buddha, the awakened one. As Siddhartha Gautama opened his eyes beneath the Bodhi tree, a profound stillness enveloped him. This was not merely the absence of sound, but the presence of an infinite clarity, a state where all questions dissolved into understanding. In that moment, Siddhartha transcended the boundaries of individual existence and awakened to the universal truths that govern life. Siddhartha saw with unwavering clarity the impermanence of all things. He understood that every moment, every form, every experience was transient, flowing like water through the hands of time. This realization was not one of despair, but of liberation. Life's fleeting nature was no longer something to resist, but something to embrace. He also perceived the source of suffering: attachment. Humanity's relentless clinging to what is impermanent, its futile attempts to control the uncontrollable, was the root of all anguish. Yet, Siddhartha also realized that liberation was possible. By letting go of attachment and embracing impermanence, one could break free from the cycle of suffering. This understanding crystallized into what Siddhartha would later teach as the Four Noble Truths, a framework that not only diagnosed the human condition but also offered a path to transcend it. The first noble truth, life is inherently intertwined with suffering. Suffering is not limited to physical pain but includes emotional struggles, dissatisfaction, and the inherent instability of existence. The second noble truth: the cause of suffering is attachment and craving, our insatiable desire for permanence in an impermanent world. This craving binds us to a cycle of dissatisfaction and suffering. The third noble truth: suffering can end. Liberation is possible when one relinquishes attachment, stops clinging to transient things, and accepts the natural flow of life. The fourth noble truth: the path to the cessation of suffering lies in the Noble Eightfold Path, a balanced way of living that integrates wisdom, ethics, and mental discipline. The Noble Eightfold Path emerged as a practical guide, not merely a theoretical construct. It emphasized right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Together, these principles formed a harmonious way of living that aligned the individual with the truth of existence. Siddhartha's awakening beneath the Bodhi tree was not an end but a beginning. With the light of truth illuminating his path, Siddhartha arose, transformed not just in understanding but in purpose. He was no longer a seeker but a teacher, a guide for those who sought freedom from suffering. This realization, the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, would become the cornerstone of Siddhartha's teachings. It was not a revelation reserved for a select few but a universal truth accessible to all who dared to seek it. The awakening of Siddhartha, now the Buddha, was a declaration that suffering, though universal, is not eternal. Through wisdom, mindfulness, and compassion, humanity could rise above its struggles and embrace a life of peace and purpose. Siddhartha Gautama, now known as the Buddha, the Awakened One, understood that enlightenment was not an individual possession to be hoarded but a universal truth to be shared. With this realization, he began a journey unlike any other, one that would span decades and touch countless lives. The Buddha traveled across the plains of ancient India, from bustling cities to remote villages. His presence was magnetic, not because of wealth or status, but because of the clarity and compassion he embodied. People from all walks of life, kings, merchants, laborers, and outcasts were drawn to his teachings. His message was simple yet transformative. Enlightenment is not a distant destination, but a journey that anyone can begin here and now. These words carried hope and empowerment, dissolving the barriers of caste, gender, and status that had divided society. The Buddha's teachings emphasized three fundamental principles: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Yet, he conveyed these ideas not through dogma but through lived experience, using simple stories, analogies, and practical advice that resonated with his audience. He taught that true wisdom does not come from accumulated knowledge but from deep inner understanding. It is a process of unlearning false assumptions and reconnecting with the truth that resides within. This wisdom enables individuals to see the world as it truly is, not as they wish it to be. The Buddha also taught that actions need not be perfect but must be balanced. He reminded his followers that striving for perfection often leads to frustration, while balanced actions rooted in compassion and mindfulness foster lasting peace and growth. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of the Buddha's teaching was his emphasis on liberation not as an escape but as an engagement with life's challenges. He encouraged his followers to confront suffering with a peaceful mind, transforming it into a catalyst for growth and understanding. Freedom, the Buddha taught, is not about avoiding life but about embracing it with wisdom and compassion. This teaching resonated deeply with those who heard it, offering a practical path to navigate life's complexities without being consumed by them. The Buddha's journey was not just about teaching but also about creating a community, a sangha, where seekers could support one another in their pursuit of truth. This collective effort reflected his belief in the interconnectedness of all beings, a theme central to his teachings. The sangha became a sanctuary where people from diverse backgrounds could learn, meditate, and grow together. It was a living testament to the Buddha's vision of a harmonious world. where wisdom and compassion bridged divides and healed wounds. By dedicating his life to spreading ancient wisdom, the Buddha ensured that the light of truth would continue to shine long after his physical form had passed. His teachings, rooted in timeless principles, remain as relevant today as they were over 2.500 years ago, guiding humanity toward a life of balance, clarity, and compassion. Beneath the silvery glow of the moonlight, the Bodhi tree stands as an enduring symbol of wisdom and resilience. Its roots dig deep into the earth, while its branches reach toward the heavens, a perfect metaphor for the journey of Siddhartha Gautama. His story is not just a historical account, but a timeless reminder to all of us about the potential for transformation within the human spirit. The Buddha's life and teachings echo a universal truth. Enlightenment is not the privilege of a select few, but the birthright of every individual willing to seek it. His journey demonstrates that the path to truth is not found in extraordinary feats, but in ordinary moments approached with mindfulness and intention. As we reflect on the Buddha's story, we are reminded that the middle way is not merely a spiritual principle but a practical guide for living. It teaches us that balance, not perfection, is the key to navigating life's challenges. By avoiding the extremes of indulgence and denial, we find a path that embraces both the joys and sorrows of existence with wisdom and compassion. You do not need to become someone extraordinary to find truth, the Buddha taught. Simply take one step at a time, walking the middle way. These words are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. They remind us that the journey to enlightenment is not about reaching a distant destination, but about engaging fully with the present moment. The teachings of the Buddha are not confined to monasteries or sacred texts. They are woven into the fabric of daily life. Every decision we make, every interaction we have, is an opportunity to practice the principles of mindfulness, balance, and compassion. By living in alignment with these values, we not only transform ourselves but also contribute to the harmony of the world around us. The image of the Bodhi tree under the moonlight, with a gentle river flowing nearby, invites us to pause and reflect. Just as the tree grew strong and resilient through seasons of change, so too can we cultivate inner strength and wisdom by embracing life's impermanence. The river, ever flowing, reminds us that life is a journey, not a destination, a series of moments to be experienced, learned from, and cherished. The Buddha's journey reminds us that every individual has the capacity to awaken to truth. It is not a matter of external circumstances, but of internal transformation. Whether we are kings or commoners, rich or poor, each of us carries the seed of enlightenment within. It is our choice to nurture it. As the music fades and the screen dims, let us carry this timeless message forward. Enlightenment is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is a possibility for all. The first step may be as simple as choosing to walk the middle way, one mindful moment at a time. The journey begins not tomorrow, but today. The Buddha's parting message was not a command but an invitation, a gentle reminder that the answers we seek are already within us. All we must do is look inward, walk forward, and trust in the process. Begin your journey. The Buddha would say, today.